Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Cross. I'm a director of Savills. We are sponsoring this fantastic evening tonight, and we're proud to do it as we've done right from its inception. I just really want to quickly thank all of the organisers of the History Festival and all of the volunteers for really getting through this in such challenging conditions. So we've done a fantastic job. I'm afraid there's a quick bit of housekeeping, and the housekeeping is no cameras. That's the bad news. And make sure you take everything away from you, and the doors are on the side. It's a great festival. It promotes history. It does wonderful stuff for the community. All I'm going to do is introduce this fabulous guy who needs no introduction and his friends. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show, and I hope you've all got your flak jackets on and your steel helmets on and everything. My name is Rick Stroud. I'm a filmmaker and a writer, and I'm going to do this evening something that has given me fantastic pleasure for the last 25 years, which is to talk to Mark Knopfler about his music. I've been a fan of his ever since I had Brothers in Arms on repeat for about 10 years. Every day. I want to get straight on with it, but before I do, I'd just like to introduce everybody in the band. And first of all, a composer, performer, producer, and hands-on man in the studio on the keyboard there, Guy Fletcher. He's a man who started on an old guitar with one E string on it until he realised that God was telling him something, which is that he was a bass player. Ewan Bernal. Versatile, gifted musicians, composer and producer, John McCusker. Groundbreaking Celtic artist. He's the master of the flute, the whistles, and the thing you'll see this evening, the inland pipes. I hope I pronounced that right. He's also a composer, Mike McGoldrick. And finally, the legend.
The legend.
The legend. Mark Knopfler, he's a legend. What can one say? He's got millions of fans all over the world, including the happy few who are here this evening to hear this unique event. And one thing I'd like to say is that one of the things that will be happening this evening is that the band and Mark will be improvising together. They'll be playing songs that you've heard, but they will be improvising, which means that what you hear this evening is a one-off. It's never happened before, and it will never happen again. So let's get straight on with it.
Thank goodness for that. Yes, well, it's a half a band that we have here at the moment, actually, which I'm sure some of the fans will recognise. But it's actually great fun doing it this way, and it's so just giving it a shot and seeing what happens with this. Normally, you see, we have a few trucks and there would be a big PA system, there'd be a massive, great heaving drum kit behind. And there would be an awful lot of noise. I mean, Vic, who just gave the last talk there, he's got his earplugs in already down in front here, but it's not going to be as loud as it normally is when we're fully equipped to do damage. So hopefully it shouldn't be too loud. If it is, just chuck something in the direction of the stage. Some money, the guys always would like a little bit, and just let us know how it's all going. Have you got some guitar there, Double D? Wonders never cease. Okay, boys, here we go. Are you getting that, folks? Yeah. Okay, well, this is, I suppose, a semi-historical thing, so it's history related, I'll say. Yon's my privateer, see how trim she lies,
To every man a lucky man, every man a cry. I live to ride the ocean, the mighty world around. Take a little plunder and I hear the cannon sound. Lay with pretty women to drink pretty wine. You roll this thunder on shore, it isn't mine. Privateering. Privateering, we will go. Well, people on your man of war treated worse than scum. I'm no flogging captain, and by God I sailed with some. So come with me to Barbary, we'll ply there up and down. Not quite exactly in the service of the crown. They with pretty women to drink to your and he would roll us thunder on shore, let us mine privateering. You will privateering. Privateering, we will go. Anybody hurt? Well, look here's my privateer, she's all she can stand. License to take prizes, with a letter from the key. I love the streets and taverns of a pretty foreign town. Tip my hat to the dark alleys as we're sailing up and down. To lay with pretty women, to drink the wine. Then he roll us thunder on shore, it isn't mine. Privateering, we will. That's enough.
You once said to me that you don't know where songs come from, but things do influence you. Patrick O'Brien, you told me to be on a Patrick O'Brien binge.
Oh yeah, well O'Brien binge. I mean, I wonder how many history fans actually have been on O'Brien binges. And I read all the books, I think probably in one go. I think about 20 of them. And think it's often that way with binges. I didn't actually revisit the O'Brien books, but and I don't think I mean that Privateering wouldn't be a book that caused a song particularly, although that one of the O'Brien books, Chalke, turns privateer, and the privateering thing is quite an interesting thing. I mean, I feel like a privateer myself with these lads when we're touring the world. It's a little bit like that. It's you're on your own and you know you're just living in a very close proximity, and you're on. I mean, it's not the same, of course, it's not quite the same thing, and hopefully you don't get too badly hurt doing it.
No, you did once talk about the man being on shore is a bit like being on a ship.
It is a little bit like that. There's a crew and a lot of old hands that have been with me for a long time too. They're probably thinking too long. But and yeah, I suppose I am a bit of an historical actor.
Shall we listen to Holloway?
Yes, well, there's another one again. Holloway, where that again partly O'Brien. Sailors were a very superstitious lot. This is really about the lucky ship. The Chalke was considered to be a lucky captain. Certainly in terms of the privateering, you know, he was considered to be, and that was very much part of it because, you know, you'd get a good chunk of the profits if you could come away with. I don't have to explain to history audience about privateering, how it came about, but what sticks in your mind is it goes back a long way. I mean, Queen Elizabeth and Francis Drake were big fans of each other, and she was in for 50-50. You know? And so she really took it on quite seriously. I think Neville was 50-50 with Francis, and it obviously by the Napoleonic Wars that had calmed down a bit. So I think about 10% for the captain and crew, and the Sea Lords didn't mind their 10% either. I should say it's quite so it's nice pickings all around. Nice pickings all around. Well, yeah, this is a national steel guitar that goes back to the 20s. It's a very vulgar thing. If you look back, you can see the lovers in a canoe and everything else. But I was very much taken by these. They're like old blues instruments, and I played a lot of music on these things. And there was a certain sound to them, and that's where the Romeo and Juliet. It's got a lot to answer for. The touch of, shall we go, Johnny? I'll tell you what, because we're short of time, we'll try and speed it up a bit, shall we? Was a windless night when you left the ship. You never were steady or warm. was as fair as a girl can be. Wedding rings heavy gold. Now you lie alone in the deep dark sea. I'm a living you're gonna go all the way home. In the morning brings oh, the fresh young breeze, fill ourselves with golden home. And our lucky ship speeds across the sea. I'm a living man, going all the way from
Talking about where songs come from, and you don't know where they come from.
no.
But the next song, maybe you would think you were looking out of an aeroplane window when the idea came.
Yes, I'm usually looking out of the window. That's pretty much what I do. Yeah, it was. This was. I happened to be reading a book at the time, and that's what sometimes happens. Is it's a bit of a collision can happen between where you are and something you have to be reading. I remember I wrote a song called Telegraph Road a long time ago, and I was sitting on a road called Telegraph Road, and thinking that where it could have come from. It must have just been attracked by a lake once, you know. And happened to be reading a book about the beginning of civilization at the same time, and looking out the plane windows, looking down at Philadelphia, and it was a massive port, you know. It was refineries and giant tankers and a great conurbation, industrial conurbation, great city, lots and lots of people everywhere. And I remember thinking, it's only 5 minutes ago, this was just a tiny little place. And behind it, just nothing but wilderness for thousands of miles. And I was reading a book at the time called Mason and Dixon, about two English guys who had gone out to sort out a dispute between a couple of states and to draw a line. One of them was a surveyor, and the other one was an astronomer. And Mason was the astronomer and had rather designs to be in the Royal Society, and wasn't very happy about being out there to do this. And the other one was a Geordie who I kind of identified with, and he was much more cheerful. He was much more a glass half full individual, and he was this. And anyway, I started writing this little song from this great big baggy book. I mean, I couldn't. The book itself goes all over the place. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to read. I mean, I must say, it took a few goes, I think, for me to get out. Did you manage?
No, I posted and I tried hard, but I can't never finish.
Well, you're not alone. But it's still a fantastic story, and it represents an awful lot because those guys were trying to impose some kind of order on something that they had really no knowledge of. And so, anyway, somehow the song came out of it. Now, whether it's got anything to do with the book, a little bit about the book here and there, yes, I think it does. You know, so the essential thrust of the book is just these two guys, and I thought I could maybe do Dixon, and then I needed another voice for Mason, and as soon as I realised I needed another voice for him, I thought of James Taylor, heard James's voice, and thankfully James came and did it. He did it beautifully too, and actually pretty low for him, because I sing well, and James didn't let it cramp his style at all. I think he brought up. So it was a bit like casting a little movie in a way. Anyway, good luck, boys. I'll see you at the other end. In fact, I won't see you at the other end, because otherwise we'll be here all night again. We'll have to do a bit. I should say this bit, you know, when I'm doing this stuff, it's just improvised. So in the studio, I would just, whatever you've got on the record, that's what it did there. So usually, so those two notes, that you kind of know what song it is there. I mean, if I tried to do something else, it wouldn't be the song after a while. If I did, it's just not the song. And so at the end of the song, we always like to just to have a little conversation, improvise. You know, we don't really know what we're going to play. So once it started, the playing will be improvised. So I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I'm Jeremiah Dixon. I am a Geordie boy. Glass of wine with you, sir, and the ladies I enjoy. All Durham and Northumberland, measured up by my own hand. It was my fate from birth to make my mark on the earth. He calls for Charlie Mason. This is James now. Stargazer am I. Seems that I was born to chart the evening sky. Cut me out for wicked bread, but I had other dreams instead. This biggest boy from the West Country joined the Royal Society. We are sailing to Philadelphia, a world away from the cold time. surveyor Dixon, but I swear you make me mad. The West will kill us both, you gullible Geordie lad. You talk of liberty, how can America be free? A Geordie and a baker's boy in the forests of the Iroquois. Now hold your head up, it's America lies there. The morning tide has raised the capes of Delaware. Up and feel the sun, new morning is begun. Another day will make it clear why your star should guide us here. We are sailing to Philadelphia, world away from the cold time. Sailing to Philadelphia, to Trondheim, Mesa, Dixon, Mesa, Dixon. So you get it, and then, you know, once they're going, I wouldn't encourage them if I were you.
Mark, this is just to push this a bit further. When you have an idea, a little German idea, you look at it as an airplane or whatever, you've then got to write the song. What do you actually do to write the song?
Well, there's a sort of a junkyard of ideas, just like having a junkyard of spare parts all around your house, and I just live in there, you know, and occasionally, and I'll be bringing songs on, and I'll just go on and keep on looking at them and bringing them together. I think you get into the habit of finishing. I think that's one of the things that you do. And it's not like anything else. It's certainly not the same as being a musician. I mean, if I'd had to be, it certainly affected my guitar playing for the worse. I mean, if I'd had to survive as a guitar player, I'd have had to take it a lot more seriously. You know, these guys are the best in the world at what they do, and they live by their instruments. And I absolutely love musicians, don't get me wrong. In fact, one of the definitions of a vocalist is someone who likes to hang around with musicians. But it's not the same thing. It's something, you're almost stuck with it, but I love it. And it has its own thing. It's not the same as prose writing, it's not the same as poetry.
It's not. There's songwriting isn't the same as poetry. I think that one of the themes, if you'll allow me to say this, is that you often write about the underdog or the individual, not the great hero, but the man who's struggling across no man's land. The song "Mighty Man" is about the unsung heroes who built England. I mean, but you made quite an impassioned speech about that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true, that's right. That's the Mighty Man song.
this is the mighty man's song.
Yeah, well, yes, I mean, you know, we all, I think we tend to take where we live for granted. I mean, I do, I mean, I suppose we all do. It did occur to me when I was reading a little bit about the history of this country, you know, that centuries back, and even at the very beginnings of building what we know as the infrastructure, you know, the canals and the dams and the tunnels and the bridges, and then that just went on and on and on and on, right the way through to the houses that we live in, to the pipes that we all use, to the everything, laying in the electricity, you know, it goes on and on through the decades right up to now. And it's obviously it's a big mixed community is built all this, you know, but mostly Irish people from very poor backgrounds. I read a book that actually Mike gave me to read, and it's a great book if you want to pick up a book, although I could read this guy, about a lot of these people. And their stories never really been told properly. I don't know that there's one. And in London, for instance, is a town that's absolutely full of monuments and statues, but you know, all the thousands of people who died building the country, you know, there's not one monument to them anywhere.
No.
Which is something. Anyway, the book's quite memorable in a way. There's a couple of lines that stuck with me, and it ended up being a song, or Mike would be telling me about his father, you know, a life of grafting. And yeah, so again, I'm not 100% sure how much of what makes the song, but I had this sort of, because Mike would be talking about his father, talking to him, you know, the song became the old Nabby talking to his son. It's called Mighty Man. I'll be using this little bit of slidey thing to slide on the strings, and it makes sense. A room on the top floor and a chest over there. 2 fingers not to working and the back shot to hell. It's a lifetime digging trenches in the cold and wet way. And for laying half of the roadway in England as well. You'd finish in the one place, it was straight to the next door, and you never could settle, 'cause you were always just a drifter in a limbo. I was best off away, son. Just one of the thousands who could never know. That's your mighty man, son. Your mighty man. On the boat and the train ride in the steam of rain.
the worst of the lodgings when we hated those subs. Miles' face on the leaving, I will always remember. And we wouldn't get paid until they closed up their pubs. Stand up on horseback, was a man for the scene. Put my hand up for boxing at the fairground on the heath. I could play my accordion, charm all the women, dance round the tap room with a chair in my teeth. That's your mighty man, son. Go mighty man. That's your mighty man, son. Your mighty man.
And you don't get paid until the end of the day at the pub, and they're dinner time for being drunk. The pub was a very important place, wasn't it?
Yeah, the pub was the labour exchange. That's where you got work. And so, and if you lived where a lot of these people had to live when they came to London, you know, that's where you would escape to as well. So that's where you found the job, and that's where you got paid for doing the job. But you got paid at closing time. And yeah, so that's was just the way it was.
You got paid at closing time, and you probably drunk all the wages.
Well, not everybody. I mean, I don't think that was that right, Mike? It wasn't all the way through. I mean, that, you know, of course, in Mike's case, you know, they settled in Manchester and had a home and brought up a family and brought up the world's greatest wood flute player.
And just going on, the Napoleonic Wars do seem to have a fascination for you, don't they? It's not so O'Brien, it's soldiers, and you sing about them.
Oh yeah. Well, I was reading a little bit about the retreat from Moscow. Again, for historians will know about that. Are you talking about Bonaparte?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, what a fantastic parallel with the Second World War that was, don't you think? It's
Yes.
Uncanny.
Yes, the going there in the first place, and then not realising you're going to get stuck there and it was going to be winter.
Yeah, just amazing. And I think I first got the idea from Jeanette Syndrome, which was half about a chap who cooked chickens for Napoleon. And And that was the realistic bit. To me, that's the bit that fired me up. And then the other half of the book is magic realism. And I must say, it was so long since I read it, but I've completely forgotten that. Magic realism's not my bag, but I was fired up by that idea of an ordinary guy in that situation. And then my wife Kitty got me a book. I must have been boring her to death about the idea of it. And she got me a book which was the diary of a Napoleonic foot soldier by an ordinary guy, just a regular. And most of these books that you read about war are written not by, people like Victor Gregg, but and this guy, Jacob Walter, is just was regular, part of the Rhine Confederation troops that were drafted into the Grand Army. And he, because it wasn't a book written by a general or by some noble who was privy to the strategy. This was just a man trying to survive. So, but it's still absolutely gripping. It may not interest all historians, I don't know. For me, but because I'm not a historian, it was absolutely gripping to me. Where he's actually running away from a Cossack and, comes upon a tin of peas and picks it up and he's eating it and he's running.
Yes.
And things that they're just the things that you stick in your mind. And just as a chronicle of the madness of war, I think it's a fantastic little book to read. And it did have a bearing on it. Okay, ready, half man? Okay. Good luck. We paid in hell since Moscow burned. These Cossacks tear us piece by piece. Our dead us to ruin under and leave. Though death be so easy. And our grand army is dressed in rags, frozen, starving, beggar bound. Like rats we steal each other's scraps, fall from hand to hand. Save my soul from evil, Lord, heal the soldier's heart. I'll trust in me to keep it all undone with bone. What dreams he made for us to dream. Spanish skies, Egyptian sand. The world was ours and we marched upon our little corporals command. And our lost tonight and ours to live. Sing her so she can be. My one true love awaits me still. Farewell, yet return. Save my soul from evil, Lord, heal the soldier's heart. trusting me to keep it all Oh, I pray for her, prays for me. Safe return to my battlefront. We break these wars when they go on. I pray our child will never see little corporal world again. Go point toward the foreign shore. Captivate the hearts of men. Save my soul for evil Lord, keep the soul's heart. I'll trust in you to keep it all.
Half band, but I'm not sure that everybody knows when you're improvising. What always gets me is how do you know what notes to play next? And when we're in, I think it's really, how do you know what to play next? Mark's saying you've got to practice for like a million years to be able to improvise properly. In the studio the other day, he did a little improvisation. If you'd be prepared to do that again, Mark, now, just a few seconds of improvisation.
Well, it's just from falling asleep playing. I mean, if you've done 10,000 hours of playing, then what happens is that when you get into a frightening situation, it's not quite as.
No, we're not doing we're doing occupation next, but just
Okay.
if you could do just a little improvise, just to show everybody.
All right. Well, okay.
When the problem hits me, say no, go away.
No, it's all right. Well, I've got this silly thing right here. It doesn't matter. The thing about playing is, if the perverse thing about the guitar is that if you're playing down this end as opposed to up here on the dusty end, the position of the finger is all completely different. So to go there to there, all the fingering is completely different. I remember once I was teaching a jazz piano player how to play guitar, and when he learned that, when he saw that the fingering had to be different, he went, "Oh no, man!" He just didn't want to know about it. And it is a bit scary, but I think what happens is that if you find yourself in certain positions while you're playing, because you've fallen asleep playing so much that as you're dropping off, your fingers still and you're sliding down towards the carpet, so it's a little bit like that. It really is just
spending the time.
Doing the hours.
And also then gives you time then to listen to what the other guy is playing, so that you know you're never completely, well, hopefully you're not completely at sea. The actual business of music can get really, really complicated. But thankfully, I've never really gone there. Some of these fellas have, of course, but it's not really been my thing quite so much. But I do try and occasionally take a look at some guitar stuff and try and bring the playing along a little bit. But it's pretty sad to behold, you know. And I would be a guitar teacher's nightmare. You know, you're supposed to stick your thumb in the middle of the back of the neck, and your hand's supposed to come around here like that. I hold the guitar like a plumber holds a hammer, really. And I do, but he would probably say, "You're doing everything wrong. There's nothing much I can do for you." I think if I was you, would just stick it. Okay, whatever it is that you're doing wrong. Where are we? Oh yes.
Are you going to, can you all play together something you've never played before, or shall I just shut up to your horn?
Well, if what key are we in? E flat. It's not just perfect. Well, but why don't we just do the first, play a verse of the song, and then I'll do a little, I'll do a little solo on the song that I've never done before. No, just one, just from the 6 minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the world's greatest wood flute player, but he's a shocker on the guitar. Once he gets excited. That's good then. Okay, here we go. So yeah, no, this one, this thing just occurred to me. I was reading a book called Naples 44, which I think you've read.
I have, because you rang me up and told me to read it. I did.
How long ago?
3 years ago? Yeah, you rang. We kept on about it.
I kept on about it, and Graham Greene kept on about it as well. He said you can't find anything better for non-fiction. Non-fiction. Apparently Norman Lewis's fiction was not as good as this, but the wonderful thing about Naples 44, which I'm sure a lot of you will have read, is the tone of it, the non-judgmental tone. He leaves it to the reader. He doesn't insult the reader. He leaves it to the reader to judge, and you start to love the writer as you read this book. What have I forgotten to say about it?
You haven't. You've covered that really well. And the only thing we did talk about was the influence of the mafia in the invasion of Sicily.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, they kind of shipped them in, didn't they, from America?
They did. Lucky Luciano, and real heavy-duty mafia, and a guy called Vito Genovese. And they were the high command said, give them every aid they want. That's the mafia, and so the mafia helps the Americans invade Sicily. Operation Husky.
And as soon as you get there, as soon as Lewis got there, because he was working for the British intelligence, as soon as he got there, he realised what a mad situation it all was. I think one of the things that the farcical things that you realise at the beginning is he's only in intelligence because he's got blue eyes. and you kind of go on from there, from one dreadful situation to the next. Because the whole thing's laced with tragedy, of course, as well, because people are really, really worth suffering, doing all sorts of things to try to survive. And again, it was just, the thing that I loved about it was there was never any hint of condemnation or anything from Lewis. He just reported. And, fantastic. You know, the way that the tone of
Yes, yes.
and again, I don't know whether it made the song or whether it will have had a bearing on it somewhere. Yeah. You ready, girls? Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, now that was improvised. So was that. I can get you what you want in the market, long as you have the price. The colonel is a governor. He steals from his own supply. The jailhouse is full of small fry. I never did much wrong. All the big fish swam away. All along gone. They're all gone. All long gone. I can get you what you want at the market. Everybody's on the make. The colonel is a governor. He's on a slice of cake. And everyone in this occupied land is on the game. Here in contraband, it's the same. We're all well, chief cook and bottle washer, that's me. I'm the man. So many people to see. Contraband. Chief cook and bottle washer, that's me. I'm the man. What do you do? What do you do? Do what you can. Here's another bedroom from Privateering. cold. And when it all caves in out I only did what I was told.
I've had the all round refrain in my head for about a fortnight now. It's very really haunting. It says something. I don't know quite what it says, but it says something about history. It really does, Mark. I really like that. I once said to Mark, he answered a song which is called "Why Worry." I love listening to the intro to that over and over again. He said, "Yeah, why bother?" Mark did go on to me about Naples Port of Call, and I had the chance to go on at Mark about something because I was working with Victor Gregg, who's a veteran soldier who's in the desert, and he wrote about the opening stages of the Battle of Alamein, and I emailed Mark and I said, you've got to just read this account of a man in the battle, and I sent Mark the paragraph, and I think it touched him.
Yeah, it really did. It's a wonderful book, by the way. If you haven't got it, this is another really. This is a book that's really worth having. Everybody should read this book. This is the paragraph that always stuck in my mind. One of many in this book. But anyway, here we go. This is El Alamein, which and Victor calls this chapter "The Butcher's Shop Opens for Business." As soon as we had cleared the first line of minefields, we witnessed something that none of us will ever forget. Lit up in the sporadic flashes of the guns, moving forward without any hesitation, came a solitary piper, walking slowly, as erect as a flagpole. We watched this apparition appearing out of the smoke behind us and slowly disappearing into the rising crescendo of battle that raged to our front. Following right on the heels of the piper came his mates, the jocks, in full line abreast, fixed bayonets and all, straight through us and into the inferno of smoke and fire. If anyone I have ever witnessed deserved a VC, that man deserved it.
And your own uncle in the retreat at Dunkirk, Uncle Freddie, who was the Tyneside Scottish, he was a piper, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, yeah. And of course, as I'm sure a lot of you will know, a lot of those lads lost their lives there. They ran into Rommel, going straight forward, a lot of heavy tanks and armor and stuff, and they only had some rifles and odds and ends, so nothing very much. There wasn't, but he did manage to hold them up for a few precious hours anyway. It enabled a lot of people to get out.
And the Dunkirk.
Mm-hmm.
And you wrote a song about your uncle.
Yeah, there's Freddie, Uncle Fred. He was only 20, so I never met Freddie, unfortunately. In the regimental book I read about Freddie, just said a piper to the end. And that's where I got the title from. Okay. All right, lads. to another I will go. But if there are no pipes in heaven, I'll be going down the road. If friends in time dissever, someday we will meet again. I'll return to leave you never, be a piper to me. This has been the day that got home. Now the day is almost done. Up above, the quiet seabird turns to face the setting sun. Now the evening dove is calling. Now the hills burning red, and before the night comes falling, clouds are lined with golden thread. We'll watch the fires together, share good quarter for a while. Walk the dusty roads together, came so many miles. This has been the day to die. Now the day is almost done. Hear the pipes will lay beside me, silent with the battle drum. If friends in time decide, someday we'll meet again. I'll return, leave you never, be a piper to me.
real sort of tribute to the 20,000 young men who 100 years ago today would never see another sunrise. It's very, very sad. It's a very sad song. Mark, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Jörn. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you so much, that was absolutely amazing. Housekeeping again, I'm sorry, 2 wallets have been found. Mrs. Hedges and Sullivan. Have a great trip back. Be careful of the mud, both on the ground, on foot and in car. And thank you so much again.